Make sure you put them laces out. I've been out and about, and I'm loud, cause I found another sound. And I'll pound on the ground for my guys across the pond. Kick is matter, that's their song. Trust me when that word is gone. Y'all can clap, clap, sing along. But on the real, they got some real deal analysis. Take the wheel, I think I feel like a catalyst. For this build, you know your boy is never out of it. Matter of fact, I think I'll go and win a championship. KMWO, KMWO. Man, you know how this go. Yeah. KMWO. Kickers matter, world order. Man, y'all already know. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to the Kickers Matter Fantasy Football Podcast. There is 4 of us in the house tonight, joined by Mr. Beautiful in the left-hand corner there, bottom left-hand corner. Tim, how you doing, mate?
Hello, mate. I like this nickname. I'll take that.
Well, mate, it's when you come on early and done that little slick back there, the hair. Great, loved it. Rob's in the house tonight. How you doing, Rob?
Do I not get a beautiful tag? Am I that ugly?
I'm going to get a nickname for you, really. Yeah, I've got Mr. Happy up in the right-hand corner there, but I'm going to have to get a nickname for you, Rob.
Mate, you can call me Princess if that makes you happy, mate.
Oh, I'll call you Princess, mate. Yeah, Princess Rob down there in the bottom right-hand corner
with a Harry Potter mug. Thank you.
Love it. And Mr. Happy up there in the top right-hand corner. How you doing, mate?
I'm not too bad, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to WrestleMania this week. Yeah, I'm a geek. I like wrestling. There you go. I'm looking forward to that this week. But boys, there was some big news, fantasy implications this week with Sam Darnold getting traded. The NFL never sleeps. Sam Darnold traded to the Carolina Panthers from the New York Jets. Thoughts?
I love it.
Cheap.
Darnold's age is something that just doesn't seem to come up. He's so young with NFL experience. Right? It's just a no-brainer for Carolina, and it's just another bit of ridiculousness from the Jets that you expect, to be honest.
When you boys say cheap, I thought about kind of obviously what they gave, a 2, 4, and a 6, wasn't it? Second next year. Is it? I like Sam Darnold. I'm a fan of his. I think he was in a horrendous situation, but for what he's shown, I don't think it's that cheap. I think the Jets have done pretty well to get a second for what he's shown. For the potential that he has, that a lot of us still think he does. Yes, it can be on the cheap side, but I think it's a fair deal for both, if I'm honest.
I think I look at it as...
Go on, Jack. No, go on.
I was just going to say, I base it on what India spent on Carson Wentz, which could potentially be a first and a second. I would rather, honestly, hand on heart, I would rather have taken Sam Darnold for what he went for. Personally, I know Carson Wentz has done it before. He's been at a different level than Sam Darnold. Not recently, he hasn't. So I base it on that price. And I think if you base it on that, then you think, hang on a minute, actually Sam Darnold being young, we know he's talented. He like you said, Jamie, he was in a shitty situation in New York. I think Carolina will be a step up for him. I think it's a great trade, possibly for both sides. Both sides can win this.
I think with Darnold as well was, even if they hadn't if he just walked from the Jets, they were getting a 3rd round pick. So they were never accepting anything less than the second one. Because what's the point? If we'll keep him, have a camp battle, who knows, he might show a lot more and win the job over whoever it will be, Wilson or Fields or whoever. So yeah, I think them getting a second, I think it's fair. I've got no complaints. I think Carolina fans should be excited and happy they didn't pay the world for him. It doesn't stop them. It's not going to stop them potentially trying to draft a Fields or a Lance if they drop to 8.
That's not happening. Yeah.
But I never thought that the Falcons were never, ever going to trade the 4th pick to the Panthers for them to trade up and get a quarterback. So this was basically all they could do.
I will say, I think it's very, not from you, Jamie, but just in general, I think it's very unfair to judge Sam Darnold when you've tied him to Adam Gase for the majority of his career. Adam Gase, look at Ryan Tannehill, look how he's flourished since he's gone to Tennessee. You mentioned that in our group the other day, Jamie. I also think it's unfair. He's had no protection on that line at the Jets. The weapons, I mean, they traded away his best wide receiver to Carolina in Robbie Anderson, or they let him walk in free agency, last year.
Second best.
Another reason why I think it's cheap is in relation to San Francisco trading up to the 103, right? If you just compare it to that, to somebody you haven't seen any NFL ball, right? You don't know if he's coachable, or what his traits that translate into the NFL are coachable in or out, right? If you can get rid of some of those bad traits or bring in good ones for whoever they take at 103. So if I look at it just from that, I've seen enough from Sam Darnold to know he's a little bit too lax with the ball. You know, he throws a lot of interceptions, which translated from his college ball through to he's also he was a top 5 pick. He was talked about being the 101 before Baker went. That's effectively what San Francisco trading up for, those types of caliber of players. That's where Sam Darnold was taken. I think he's good enough to be an NFL quarterback, and a 2nd and 3rd to steal from it, or 2nd and 6th, or whatever it was.
Can someone tell me why the Jets have traded Sam Darnold away to draft Sam Darnold at the 1.2?
I agreed with that comment. I think that's exactly right.
Because to me, I haven't seen a huge amount. I'm not saying I've watched loads of Wilson tape or whatever. I haven't. But from the bits that I've seen, and it's just Sam Darnold. Darnold had a wonderful pro day. Wilson had a wonderful pro day. Darnold was in play for USC with much stronger competition than Wilson has done in BYU. Wilson, going into this season, if I'm right in thinking, wasn't even the starter. He had to win the job. So, Wilson, is he a bit Mitch Trubisky-ish? Similar.
I put it on Twitter, Jamie. This, to me, the whole situation with the Jets is how bad teams stay bad. They just do weird, stupid decisions.
They had a great opportunity to get a generation. Well, I say generational. That term is overused, but potentially a generational tackle. I know they've got some tackles there already, but they could have strengthened the O-line. Whatever, they could have got a Jamar Chase or a Kyle Pitts or someone to give weapons to Sam Darnold. They could have strengthened around him. There was no need to trade him. I think it was a mistake, like you just said. I think they should have stuck with him. I've said that from day one.
This is all new coaching staff, isn't it? This is they want to come in, make their mark. If I'm honest, the Jets GM was last year was his first year, wasn't it? I think the new one didn't they get?
Don't know,
but
I know the coaching tree comes from Shanahan, doesn't it? And
it's defensive. It's a defensive coach. I'm surprised he moved on from Darnold.
Have you seen the Carolina Panthers tweet they put on Sam Darnold?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
it's brilliant.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Fantasy-wise, though, it just boosts the whole Carolina offense for fantasy for me personally.
Yeah, can't disagree.
I think he's going to be very similar to what Bridgewater was this year.
I think he's better.
I just do. I'm not saying he isn't a better quarterback. I just think he will have a similar season this coming season that Bridgewater had last season. I do. I don't think Darnold's going to blow up. I don't think. I don't see it. I think it's going to be very, very similar. I'm not going to say it's going to be worse. It might be slightly better, but it's going to be similar to what Bridgewater.
Who's wide receiver one? Is it Anderson or Moore?
DJ Moore.
Christian McCaffrey.
I think Robbie Anderson suits Sam Darnold's game more.
It's Christian
McCaffrey.
It's Christian McCaffrey. There's no denying. McCaffrey is going to get 100 catches this year.
I did say wide receiver one, but you're not wrong.
I do think Robbie Anderson suits Darnold's game more, personally.
But it's just we've also got to think about different systems. When Anderson was at the New York, he was a field stretcher.
Yep.
Carolina have not used him as a field stretcher, and I don't know if Sam Darnold is going to make them change him to be a field stretcher. I think there's a connection there, and that is good.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued, and this is not me being kind of like, but Darnold quite likes his tight ends.
He likes his short stuff.
I'll be intrigued to see if Kyle Pitts falls to them. That would be an interesting pick by the Panthers.
That'd be exciting.
Are we picking up Ian Thomas in the process, though?
No.
Dan Arnold, isn't it?
I've already got all the Ian Thomases from last year. I just can't get rid of them, so don't worry about that. That's dead, Tim. I'm afraid Ian Thomas is. He doesn't exist. It's fine.
He's a bust.
Right. That is enough Sam Darnold talk. Just a quick one. How hot or cold are you boys on Deshaun Watson at the minute for Dynasty? I traded him to Tim in the league the other day. Actually,
what did you trade him for?
What was that trade? It was a Superflex league. I'll just get it up.
It was in and amongst an absolute melee of trades in that league where I've somehow made my favourite roster. So,
because I've got a fair bit of Deshaun Watson, and I'm just holding because luckily enough, where I've got Deshaun Watson, 80% of the time is in Superflex. 80% of the time, I've got Josh Allen and Kyler Murray to join him, so I can just sit and wait with Deshaun Watson.
I traded Tyler Boyd, Deshaun Watson, and George Kittle for Kenny Golladay, Cole Kmet, and 2 first-round picks.
Where are the firsts?
2021
was 105. I took Najee Harris with it.
Okay, so Boyd and Golladay, I think they're fairly similar.
Well, I think Golladay's an upgrade, personally.
Yeah, I think Golladay's an upgrade.
Wait for a QB. I love Kenny Golladay. I love him. This is not me shafting Kenny Golladay. I need to see it in New York.
Tyler Boyd is going to be, especially if they draft Jamar Chase, the Bengals. Tyler Boyd will be the third wide receiver 3 on that team.
But
Daniel
Jones throws to Kenny Golladay, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah, but Daniel Jones has had no one to throw to yet, so we don't really know what he's capable of.
That is very true, Rob. But he's got to maintain ball security before he lets it go out of his hands. Which it's
still Danny Dimes. I get your point.
So you've for example, like say you've got George Kittle, you swapped for Cole Kmet. Deshaun Watson, you swapped for what, 1.5?
Yeah, technically, yeah.
And 2 other first-round picks. I think.
How old are you on Deshaun Watson? That's what I bear in mind. This is kind of a rebuild for me now this week. So
yeah,
I'm still hot on him. I'm buying him at at those kind of prices.
I don't think that's a fair price because it's a big deal. I think you need to see Watson go for picks or something like that. I don't think that's a big deal. That's like 3 players involved, and
if I'm getting rid of Watson, I'm not getting rid of Watson for less than 2 first-round picks even now, and one of them has to be the 1.3 or better this year. And one can be a future pick that can be whenever. But if I'm getting rid of Watson, I want a QB or a top 3 pick back. Otherwise, I will hold, because it's not really a seller's market because of everything that's coming out, unless you're in a rebuild, and then just get rid of what you can and forget about it. Because if you're in a rebuild, it's a couple of years before you even touch anything. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that.
Anything else to add on Deshaun Watson? Trade value?
Deshaun Watson, I don't have any stock of Deshaun Watson. I did have this time last year, but I also had Lamar Jackson in that same team, and it was only a single quarterback, so I actually got rid of Deshaun Watson last year. It doesn't look good for this year. I honestly don't think he plays.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not looking good at all. All right, boys, we are going to move on, and we are going to do a free. Jamie corrected me earlier. We're going to do a 36 round rookie draft. Yeah, we are a bit mad on it. That got his math wrong a bit. So we are actually doing a 9-round 4-man rookie draft, but this would be for a 12-man league, so technically it'd be 3 rounds, and the league will be Superflex. So I'm going to get it up. Rob has the 101. Where are we going, Rob?
Well, Superflex or no Superflex, I don't really care, because I love Najee Harris, and I'm taking him 101.
Ooh. Wow. Big.
Rob, I've got a couple of openings in my leagues. I can find them who've got the 101, and I might have the 102. Do you want? I like it. I do like the fact that you are high on him, so you go and get your guy.
Rob,
I am, yes.
If you was playing in a league, would you trade back out of this spot, knowing it's a Superflex?
No, knowing that the guys behind you need two picks, 2 and 3 needed the quarterback.
Yeah,
I probably would. If that was the case. I struggle a little bit with mock draft before the real draft, because I do put a lot of value on landing spot.
Yeah.
I've got in my head that Najee Harris is going to Arizona, and if that's the case, I'm all over it, and I love it. And I've loved Najee Harris for a couple of years now. Watched him at Alabama, I think he's just fantastic. He's my running back 1. I think as long as he lands at a fantasy relevant spot, he's going to take off this year, and I'm all over it. So I'm going to draft him. Have you turned this draft on, by the way?
I will now. Yeah, sorry.
There we go. In he goes.
Well, I wonder who Tim's taking. Tim, are you high on Wayne Eskridge, aren't you? You can go and get your guy.
Game over here.
There we go, done.
Tim goes Trevor Lawrence. I can't disagree with you on that one, Tim.
Now I'm in a conundrum here. I'm not even thinking about Zach Wilson.
Not taking Darnold.
No.
Darnold reserves.
I'm between Justin Fields and Trey Lance here. My heart says take Trey Lance. My head says take Justin Fields, so I'm taking Trey Lance.
Well, that made my decision very easy. Justin Fields is my 102 quarterback in this draft class, so he is coming off the board here in the Superflex League.
I've got Lance and Fields.
Just for the viewers, up to round 3 will be round 1 if you're just so you can keep up with this. Tim, so this would be the 105 technically.
Yes, Rob.
Jack,
Oh,
are
it's
you
Rob,
doing?
yeah, sorry.
Jack, are you doing the draft on your phone?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Can you just put the little down button on the tab of players?
Yes, swipe it down.
I would,
Right.
Sleep.
There. That you literally just were on it.
There's
A
nothing
little
there.
down arrow. Press that. There we go.
There you
There
Okay.
you go, Rob.
go. I'll. Do you know what? I'm gonna stick with my moment of madness.
Oh, he's going to go
And I'm
Jamar
gonna-
Chase.
He's going.
I'm gonna go Jamar
Oh.
Chase.
So Jamar Chase has gone at the 105. Technically, we will share this after we've done this draft, so people can see. Oh, and there goes Carl Pitts.
Oh, I nearly took Pitts as well. I thought he might last until next year.
Now, is it right this early in the draft to try and just snipe someone?
Yes, is always the answer.
You're going to snipe me, aren't you?
That's always the answer.
Oh, there he is.
Wide receiver 2 in this
I
draft.
knew you wanted him. I'm
I'm
not as high as you are, but I will quite happily snipe you just for the sake of it.
I will quite happily take my 102 at running back then, which is
Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams here.
Fair enough.
Can I just say quickly about Javonte Williams?
Yep.
I've seen a little bit. I haven't looked in massive depth. He reminds me a little bit of Kareem Hunt.
He reminds. I've comped him to Chris Carson. He reminds me of Chris Carson. He's that.
He's violent, but he's a bit shiftier than Carson. I'm thinking more kind of. That's kind of what I thought about Hunt. But if he's Chris Carson, then good. I love Chris Carson.
I kind of wanted him to. Well, I kind of wanted Seattle not to re-sign Chris Carson and Javonte Williams to land there.
Nah, don't be silly.
Seattle are terrible at drafting, to be fair. So yeah.
Well, they didn't draft Chris Carson.
Me on the clock.
Yeah, we're on the 109 pick here.
Okay. As I'm the only one that's not taking a quarterback yet, I'll take him just because he's going to be a starter. He might not be great. He might be Sam Darnold in the second, but I'm going to go for Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson's gone.
Okay, interesting.
Tim is on the clock. What is he going to do here at the 1010? It's Travis Etienne. I'm not a fan. Really not. I think you're going to get a bit of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I know you like him, Rob.
Who, Etienne?
Yeah.
Yeah, not as much as Najee.
So just quickly on just a prospect I want to talk about, Mac Jones. If the 49ers draft him, which it looks, whether or not it's a smokescreen or not, but all signs are pointing that they're going to draft him at the 1-3. They're not drafting him to sit behind Jimmy, are they? He starts from day one, surely.
I don't know. I think he'd probably sit behind Jimmy for the year, to be honest. But
isn't he kind of the most pro-ready? Even more so than Lawrence. I'm not saying he's better than Lawrence. Lawrence is better than him, but I mean, just could step straight in.
Yes, but
I don't know. He's only been a starter for 1 year in Alabama.
If you want to talk for a fantasy standpoint as well, like the ceiling of Mac Jones is Kirk Cousins at best.
And people are loving Kirk Cousins.
No, but I'm saying at best, Jamie. At best.
Yeah.
That's a bit.
He's an Alabama quarterback. He's going to fail.
Nah. Tua.
All right, I'm going to go. I really want to go running back here, but I'm not. I'm going Jalen Waddle.
Wow. Any reason behind that, or?
I don't want to. I was either him or Gainwell for me. Waddle, I know, missed most of the season with an injury. The season before that, he was the guy there. obviously, I haven't seen a huge amount of him this year. Nobody has. But he's a field stretcher. He is quick as hell. If we thought Henry Ruggs is quick, and him and Waddle are step by step. So I think him going to somewhere like, where do we think he could be drafted? Here's a question for you. Waddle.
Miami.
You think Miami are going to take him? Good, because he had a good connection with Tua. I do like that thinking. I like that. I wondered whether or not that the Lions would take him.
Oh God, I hope not.
I think they'll be. I don't know. I think they'll be more inclined to go for a Devonta Smith, and more of a all-purpose receiver. I know he's got skinny legs, he's got twiglet legs, but I think they're. I don't know. I don't know.
I've got big issues with Devonta Smith. I did some projections last night again, and I moved him down my rankings again. He's sitting at rookie wide receiver 6 for me at the minute, Devonta Smith.
Wow.
I know a lot of people like him. I've just got issues with his size, and it's another. I don't like Rondale Moore out of this class either. The size.
Have you seen Rondale Moore? Did you see him at his pro day? He's huge. He's like a unit.
Well, the one thing. Oh, carry on, mate.
Just the height. I'm going off of Rob.
He had a 40-inch vert.
I think the one thing about Devonta Smith, which I hear over and over again about him, is it's not about his size, it's not about his speed, it's about his hands and how good his hands are.
Yeah. Yes.
That's the thing that stands out to me about Smith. Just quickly with Waddle, I was reading something, and they compared him to. It's quite difficult to compare him to this NFL player. It's kind of like a bargain basement version of Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've got written down.
Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you can get a 60-70% Tyreek Hill, then I think he'll do all right.
People also said that about McCole Hardman, Jamie, when he came out.
Yeah, but when McCole Hardman was drafted, everyone went, "Who the fuck is he?"
Yeah, but then what I'm saying is for fantasy, people started taking him with stupid ADP.
Oh, but people can. Waddle's going to go fairly early anyway, I reckon.
No, I don't hate him where you took him. I believe he's a first-round rookie pick. I'll end the first round here. Again, it is super flex. I'm a bit meh. I'm going to take Mac Jones just because it's super flex. It's the ceiling there is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is okay. For fantasy. So at the technically that would be the 112 pick there. I'm quite happy to round out the first round with the last relevant QB in this class for me.
I think the question that we need to ask all the kind of the viewers, obviously after your Kirk Cousins kind of comparison, is Jack's pick of Mac Jones there. Do you like that? No one else get it? That was bad.
Rob is on the clock with a 2:01 here, and I think I know where he's going to go, but
no, you don't. I don't think.
Oh,
I'm going to go Kenny Gainwell.
Wow.
I like Kenny Gainwell. I think had he had played in 2020, he'd be well and truly in the discussion with Najee and Javonte and that lot up there. I think there is a tier jump between these two at the moment, but I think that he's got all the tools to be a really effective runner in the pro level. And I'm excited to see him actually. He was out last year. He was a COVID opt-out because he lost 2 family members to COVID. So it's a bit of a testament to his character as well. He didn't play because, he didn't want to he didn't want to sort of take the piss out of his family sort of thing. And I think that's a bit of a testament to who he is as a player. I like that. He's good. He's really good. Watching tape on him all off season, and he's certainly stood out from that respect. So yeah, I'm happy to take him here.
He's the best pass catching back out of this class for me.
Yeah, possibly. I think there's some sort of specific guys in the group a bit later, but I think as a as a top tier running back, definitely probably the best. Yeah.
Tim took Devontae Smith after that. Tim's got a kid issue, so he's had to sort of bow from the on screen. But
Now,
he's making mistakes.
What I will say about Devonta Smith, for me, I know, like I said a minute ago, he's got twiglet legs and his size is an issue, but he makes up for it with his hands and his route running. He is an elite level college receiver coming into the NFL. If he lands in the right spot, if he's got the right quarterback that knows how to use him, he'll be lights out. He'll be brilliant.
Yeah, agreed.
But there are question marks, and I appreciate there's question marks. I've had the same question marks, but I think the hands prevail.
So if he lands with the Lions, then I'm all out. Jamie, who are we taking here? Carl Trask?
No, I'm taking Terrace Marshall.
Wow. Okay.
Solid year last year.
Yeah.
You've left me on the clock here. I'm going to take another running back that I love out of this draft class, and that is Michael Carter. Who is
teammate of Gabe Malini.
Yeah. Teammate of
Williams.
Yeah.
Williams, sorry.
Yeah, teammate of Devontae Williams, pass catching back. So yeah, I like Michael Carter. Again, when you're sort of getting into these running backs where we are now, landing spot will be key for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm way too low on Michael Carter. He's currently, when I did the guide, he's my RB11. I'm way too low on him. That has gone up since the guide got edited. So I am rising. I'm going to go Rondale Moore, and the reason, again, like you, Jack, you flagged up his size, and again, I appreciate that. But seeing him at his pro day, he jumped a 42.5-inch vert. That's a lot higher than some 6'2" receivers are jumping.
Yeah.
That was special. And I think the athletic traits he's got, his speed, his acceleration, playing in Purdue is a tough college to play for because you're not at a great college. You're in a good division, in a good conference, but he's a standout player that stayed there. He could have moved. I like that character issue. I just like Rondale Moore. I think he's a solid player, and I think that size, he makes up for it through athleticism.
I'm just a bit concerned to see how he's going to be used in the NFL. That's all. I need to see how the NFL is going to use him.
As long as they stick him in the slot, he'll be fine.
Yeah. So Tim took another tight end, Pat Fryermuth. Pat Fryermuth's my number 2 tight end out of this draft class. Brevin Jordan's moved way down after his pro day. I don't base a lot on pro days, but he had a terrible pro day, Brevin Jordan. I like Fryermuth. Any other year, if you didn't have Kyle Pitts, he'd be the tight end 1 in the draft class. So for me, yeah, I like the pick. Jamie.
I don't want to take Brevin Jordan here. Then you've got kind of St. Brown, Tony. I'm kind of edging towards wanting to take a running back here.
I'm not. I agree with you on St. Brown.
Yeah, and the two that kind of you got Chubba Hubbard, who just draft stock has fallen, and he's just a speed merchant. It doesn't really do.
He played for Arizona, didn't he?
No, Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
Oklahoma State. Sorry, yeah.
It's just a bit of a get in the open field and go. Not I'm. That's the landing spot for him is going to be interesting. Trey Sermon, three good games he had, and the rest were very quite underwhelming.
Yeah.
I think with Sermon, for me, it's that kind of I'm intrigued and excited to see what he can do because he's shown kind of glimpses of it. I think it's probably I'm probably taking him a bit early here. Well, in fact, I know I am, but I'm going with a gamble on Trey Sermon.
No, yeah, I can't.
For me. He could bomb out. Totally could bomb out. But gets a good landing spot, and actually shows more of what he did in those 3 games, then I think he could be exciting. But it's a gamble.
So we're going to come to pick 208, and I'm going to take a gamble here. I never liked this player, even though he played for my college team. I had a lot of concerns with him, but I don't know.
Terry?
It's going to be Tamari and Terry. Yeah, he's grown on me in this whole process, and I don't want to compare him to DK Metcalf, but he's that build. He's that sort of receiver. Landing spot's just going to be so crucial for him, and draft capital. You need to see what the draft capital is going to be on someone like this. But I'm taking him here. This is pre-draft, and I'm praying he lands somewhere decent. I'm not these other receivers that are left on the board. I'm not St. Brown. I have a lot of concerns with Wallace. So yeah, I'm quite happy to take him there. It was a reach, but
yeah. Where do I go here? There's right. So I quite like St. Brown. I think I'm the opposite to you two guys. I quite like him. I'd really like Teddy Wallace as well. Actually, I don't particularly like Kadarius Toney. I've loved watching Florida last year. I don't think Kadarius Toney is going to. His skills are actually going to translate very well to the NFL to the start with. Anyway, I do like Chuba Hubbard. I think the mileage issue from having over 2,000 rush yards last year, it could be an issue, which is me being ironic because I loved Jonathan Taylor last year. Anyway, I am going to go for Kylan Hill. I really like Kylan Hill. He's my running back 4. Personally, I think he offers a lot, and I think if he lands on the right spot, it could be a really good player.
Tim has took Elijah Moore. Did he move down your? Yeah, it's a good pick. Did he not move down your board a bit after his pro day?
Not really. I think he's a solid player. I think he's one of the better sort of mid-round receivers in the draft. If I'm honest,
He's just a slot guy, isn't he?
Slot guy, yeah, slot receiver. But he's got great hands. He's tough at the catch point. Yak machine. He's quite good to watch.
Right, I'm going to take. This might surprise you boys, actually.
Tutu.
I'm going to take Tutu at 12. Louisiana wide receiver, speedy guy.
Yeah,
it's fine. I'm gonna leave your receivers there, Rob. So this is technically again the 212. I'm gonna take Chuba.
Yeah,
I like Chuba. We've all sort of said it, and he does need to get that open field. But yeah, once he's in the open, there's sort of no stopping him. I'm a bit like you with my running backs. I do have concerns when they have that massive tread on their tires, so to speak. In college, it was a reason I didn't like Royce Freeman coming out because he had a load of tread on his tires coming out of Oregon. So yeah, I do have concerns, but at the 212, yeah, I'm quite willing to take that risk here.
It really depends on what kind of a team he lands with, because like we saw with Jonathan Taylor, if he lands on a team like Indy where we can, sit him in a committee and we can limit his touches for the first couple of years.
Yep.
But don't, this year, let's be honest, we've got him for 4 years because running backs don't have longevity in the NFL, do they? So, we will run the doors off him for the last couple of years. I'm sure of it. Signing Marlon Mack tells me that we're going to, keep his workload down again this year. could be the same for Hubbard. If he ends up in a team where he's going to have a productive committee, where they're going to limit him for the first year, he could be good for fantasy, like going forward.
Agreed.
Where
are you? So okay, I'm moving into the third round there.
Right. Okay. Third round. Also, just at the end of Tuba there, I think that Hubbard pick is now almost a tier jump now from the running backs. I think we've had the elite guys. I think the next guys are going to be not reaching, but there's not, you're going on. A lot of the next guys are going to be where they land is going to be key. So with that in mind, auto drafted for me, but it just so happens that I love Anthony Schwartz, so it's fine with me.
Did it auto draft you?
It did, yeah, but that's fine. I was going to pick up Anthony Schwartz in a couple of rounds because he is an absolute speed freak. If there would have been a combine this year, Anthony Schwartz would have smashed John Ross's record.
So to you, Jamie. I don't know why it's autoed you there. It's weird.
Interesting that you were talking about running backs there, Rob. And I'm about to take one here.
Jamal Jefferson.
Yep.
Absolutely. That is a great pick. I love that.
The thing with Jefferson is he's kind of got the size to be a primary back in the NFL, and sometimes he's again it's going to be landing spot. What are the thoughts on if he landed somewhere like Pittsburgh? Do you think that
Have you read my latest article? Because I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I did a rookie running back perfect landing spot, and I think I put Jamal Jefferson to Pittsburgh as the perfect spot. I love him. I think he's great.
He's shown some real impressive flashes, but he just does fuck all, putting it politely. I like him. I think there's some real potential there, and again, a landing spot is key for him. What are you thinking, Jack? Yeah,
I'm going to go a player that's actually recently. I've been watching a lot of tape on him, and he's moved up my draft board quite a bit, and that's Dwayne.
Right, I was about to say, is it like a small white slot receiver? Is he going to get drafted by the Patriots? Yes.
Eskridge is he's a speedy sort of guy. He's probably going to start off as a kick returner, to be fair, in the NFL. Be interesting to see where he goes in the draft. Probably, I don't know. What do you think, Rob? Around 4 or 5 guy?
Let me just see where I've got him going here. Dwayne Eskridge. I have got him. Oh, he's a bit lower down than I thought he would be.
Oh, there we go.
Oh no, he's not. I'm going the wrong way.
I think in the actual NFL draft, I reckon round 4 or 5 he'd be.
I've got him as a 3rd, 4th rounder. I thought a little bit higher.
So he's been moving up my draft board. He's very speedy. He's underrated route runner as well. So yeah, I'm quite happy to take him at what would be the 304 pick here.
Yep. Okay, as we're sort of heading down with a couple more rounds, I'm actually going to take a big shot here on a guy that I absolutely love. That is Emir Smith-Marset. He's a wide receiver from Iowa, the Iowa Hawkeyes, and he's electric. He's not got the greatest of college stats, but he's just a solid receiver. He's a track star. He's a deep threat, but he's got a great route running ability, and he's got really safe hands. I think he's a really big sleeper in this draft, and I think that he's going to be picked up off waiver wires very quickly next year.
Interesting. Everyone keep note of that. Timmy, where are we going here? We've got Brevin Jordan. We're going for another tight end, are we?
I might just do that. But no, with having the 2 best tight ends on the board, I'm set for a while. I'm set for years, lads. I'm going to go with a guy that I like. I think he's got the ability to land in a pretty nice situation. Again, good route runner. Just like him. I think at this stage of the draft, you've got to take people that you've seen a little bit of. If you're not watching college ball week in, week out, like the likes of Rob and people like Jason, you've got to go on other people's advice. The advice that I've had is that this guy can ball. It's going to come down to landing spot, but at this stage in a rookie draft, you take somebody like that.
Right, who should I take? I'm taking Sam Brown here.
Well, I thought he was going to take my guy then. That's all right. I'm quite glad you didn't. Yeah, I mean, he's fallen in our draft there. I don't think any of us are massively high on him. I think he'll probably go a lot higher than that in a lot of other rookie drafts. He's probably a second round guy in other rookie drafts, but he's I don't think any of us are fans. Where am I going to go? I'm going to go. I know me and Jason are very high on this guy, a friend of the pod, Jason, Debbie host. I was speaking to Jason last night. Jason has said to me, if this guy goes in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft, he'll move into his wide receiver 3 for fantasy rookie. It's Seth Williams out of Auburn. Going to be a boundary guy at the next level. It's just, the draft capital is key. Jason was telling me last night about some of his metrics he uses for guys coming out, and he really wanted to put him at 3, but he just concerns at draft capital. So I think Seth Williams is someone you look out for, see where he gets drafted, what day he goes on. Rob, I don't know if you're a fan or.
I'm kind of in the middle with Seth Williams. I think he's fine. Landing spot's key, as with anyone. Personally, I've got 3 or 4 wide receivers above him at this point. But yeah, I can see why you like him, definitely.
So that would be the 308. So we're gonna go to the 309, which is Rob's last pick in this draft.
Okay, I'm going to go left field again, just because I think it's important to dig deep when you can. I think, let me just say, realistically, if I'm sitting here and Brevin Jordan's on the clock, and if the landing spot's pretty good, then I think Brevin Jordan's probably my pick. But I'm going to go deeper just because of all the tape I watched on tight ends this year, I've watched over 70 hours of tight end tape since January, and I'm going to take Kylan Granson from SMU. I think he's an absolutely fantastic player. I love him. I think he's great to watch. I think if he lands, he's going to be one of these sleeper guys that a lot of people are never going to have heard of, and he's going to enter the maybe a couple of seasons time, and he's going to be, who the hell is this guy, Kylan Granson? He's a beast. I love him, so I'm going to take him as a whim.
Nice.
I thought you were going to go Hunter Long then.
I love Hunter Long. For me, honestly, Hunter Long is the best blocking tight end in that top bit. And he's one of the best all-round tight ends in this draft. I do like that. I'm glad you mentioned Hunter Long because he was on my mind as well. I've just gone even deeper. I just think Kylan Granson, if he gets in the right spot, is just going to take off.
I'm not going to draft Hunter Long because I've taken 2 tight ends, right? So, trying to, not be too daft, but the fact that he's the best blocking tight end in the draft means he's on the field, right? And he's on the field week 1. So I think his path to being fantasy relevant is quicker than a lot of the other ones. So I'm picking him up in as many places that I can because field time is so important. Jack, it's something you talk about. Pass protection for running backs means you're on the field more. So, you become more fantasy relevant quicker. So he would be, if I hadn't taken baby Gronk in with my second tight end pick, I'd be going with Hunter Long. I'm actually going to go a little bit left field as well with a guy that I'm probably taking a few people above him, but I want to take him here just to talk about him a little bit more because he's starting to get a bit more attention. Sorry, where's he gone? I thought I put him on my queue.
Jack, can you scroll down on the screen?
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, I can.
So
I can. There we go.
And it's Khalil Herbert.
Great pick.
And he's getting a little bit more attention, which I think is justified. His production at college, I don't think it tells the full story, probably a lot around his protection. But he is going to be somebody that somebody's either going to take, a little bit like a Tony Pollard, was taken to be behind Zeke. He's the type of person who can come and take that second role behind another running back and be fantasy relevant. He's great at running between the tackles. He's a little bit small, but he's well built. He's got on I think he's 212, something like that, Rob. So he's got enough size behind him. And I think that was his way in before, pro days and stuff like that. So he's going to put a little bit more on. He's going to be the right size. He's a great runner. He's a really good runner. He's great to watch. So I hope he turns up in a good place where he can get, RB2 type numbers behind. One of those superstars.
I think I again he was in my featured article, sleeper running backs to look out for, and I've got the perfect fit being at Cincinnati because I think he sits behind Joe Mixon really well, and I think actually he probably can edge Mixon out. It sounds a bit crazy, but I think he can. A one-cut running back, but was second only behind Michael Carter, who's obviously been drafted in the ACC. Rush yards this season, 1,180, I think it was, over the season. And yeah, he's someone who I've really been interested in. Had 4 miserable years in a poor Kansas Jayhawks offense, but as soon as he's gone to the Hokies, he's been really, really good. Really good to watch last year. He won me a fantasy title, so obviously I'm always going to lean on that as well. But yeah, Khalil Herbert is a great shout late in the draft.
Cool. Thanks, mate.
Who are you taking to 311 here, Jamie?
Sam Darnold.
Well, if I'm being brutally honest, you're looking at the board, I can guarantee you that Brevin Jordan will not be here in the 311 in any rookie drafts. It just won't. He will not. He'll be going, I reckon, back end of the second, latest.
Well, I won't be drafting him, but yeah.
But he will be. Now,
yeah.
For the sake of that, I'm going to draft him. But the person I want to draft isn't on sleeper.
Wow.
Oh, can I guess? Give me a clue.
It's a quarterback.
Okay, now I'm stopped.
I'll tell you. He wants.
Is it Matt Ryan's son?
No. He once was at Stanford. Is that a clue? Rob? Probably won't get it.
Just let me go on Google.
I think I do know, but I can't think. I've go on. Put me out of my misery here.
Okay. I really want to take this quarterback because if I'm in this position here, I've already taken Trey Lance, and I'm going. Okay, I'm the back end of my draft. Let's say I'm going to take a punt. I don't want to take a punt on Kellen Mond or Ian Brook or Trask. Just doesn't interest me. If I'm going to take a punt, I'm going on KJ Costello, Mississippi State quarterback.
Yes,
that is the punt. He's not on sleeper. I suspect there's a very, very high chance he won't even get drafted. But he's got the size. I think he's got the arm. I think he's worth a punt. So when sleeper get him updated, I'm going to be picking him up.
KJ Costello had a great game against LSU week 1 of last season. He looked absolutely phenomenal. I think he threw for 600 and something yards, if my memory serves me correctly. And he did it. It looked absolutely phenomenal. But from week 2 onwards, he was utter shite. So if you get week 1, KJ Costello, I'm pretty sure, I without looking, I think it was 630 something yards he threw for against LSU.
I'm going to have a look.
Special.
College stats, but he is a real kind of a total punt. It's a last pick in the draft kind of thing. Yeah. You can never take too many quarterbacks.
Not in Superflex.
No. Now let's have a quick look.
You can take too many quarterbacks that won't get drafted. There is such a thing as that, Jamie.
But
so what was it? 2020.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look.
And I like KJ Costello, and I picked him up in a Debbie League in a trade. But I'm not sure he's gonna be NFL relevant at all.
But if I'm genuinely not saying I believe 100% he will. But if I'm taking a punt on a quarterback, I'm going to take a punt on a quarterback.
Yeah.
And most people will be like, "Who the fuck is he?" I'm gonna. Oh, come on! Why can't they just show me?
I've got it here. Do you want it?
Schedule the results. Yeah, go on then. Tell me.
Week 1, LSU, 623 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He had a QB rating of 168.1.
It's not bad.
That's higher than the NFL. Higher than NFL ratings go. So, yeah, he was great for that game.
Yeah, he just wasn't. 6 games, 134, 64% completion, 6 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Yeah, so put it this way. So his season, he threw for 1,200 yards and 6 touchdowns in the season. He threw for 621 and 5 touchdowns week 1. That puts it into perspective how bad the rest of his season was.
All I'm going to say is don't count him out. That's all I'm saying.
No.
Don't draft him in the first 4 rounds of a 5-round rookie draft. Just don't count him out. I think
he's flashed, and stranger things have happened in the NFL.
Exactly.
So who are you taking?
Don't copy me, kids. Don't copy me, kids. Oh, I'm going to have to take Brevin Jordan because he's not going to be there now.
And I'm going to use your quote there, Jamie. You can never have too many quarterbacks in a Superflex league. And
You're playing Trask, aren't you?
I'm quite happy to stash this person on my taxi squad for the whole year. He won't start year 1. But, yeah, I am taking Kyle Trask.
Love Kyle Trask.
Well, he had a good season last year. He needs to sit, doesn't he, in the NFL? Bit like he's got a bit of Big Ben to him, hasn't he? A bit, but he needs to.
Look, after week 11, he was the Heisman winner for me.
Yeah.
He ruined it the last couple of weeks, but he had a great year.
All I'm going to say, boys, is anyone who's listening or watching,
don't copy any of
that. Go and find another podcast who talks about KJ Costello. Good luck.
And Kyle and Granson.
Exactly. Just think about this. In 2 years' time, when they're both starters and doing well, how fucking brilliant are we going to look?
Yeah, I'm actually quite disappointed we're not gone 36 rounds because I'm genuinely looking down this now, and there's players a long way down that I'm still in love with right now. So if we want to go 36 rounds, I'm just saying I'm down. I mean, I don't know about everyone else.
What's that, Rob? I can't quite hear you. Can you put him on mute, please, Jack?
Army Brown was good on the ball, doesn't he? Jesus Christ.
Loads of good players left.
Yeah. I think between the 4 of us, we went for a few guys that we sort of like. Like James
I didn't even go for my favourite player.
What other podcast will give you that? Sleeper didn't even have the player on
didn't
there.
even have Costello on there. But let's put it this way, boys. Let's talk about the 4 quarterbacks, okay, or 5 quarterbacks. So Trevor Lawrence in real life, let's say he gets drafted by Jacksonville.
He is.
Wilson is going to the Jets. Mac Jones gets drafted by the 49ers. Let's say that Trey Lance is drafted by the Falcons, and Justin Fields drops down to Denver. What order are you putting them in? As in, where do they sit? As in, on a rookie draft, the first 5 quarterbacks in that position. So Trevor Lawrence at the Jags, Wilson at the Jets, Mac Jones at the 49ers, Trey Lance at the Falcons, and Justin Fields at the Broncos.
Lawrence, Fields, Mac Jones, Lance.
Lawrence, Lance, Fields, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson. I like the landing spot. I know what you'd say after for Mac Jones if he goes to the 49ers, but the ceiling is Kirk Cousins.
Everything, like, I know that Trevor Lawrence should be the 101, and in 99.9% of drafts he will be. But Justin Fields in Denver? Is that not appealing?
Not for me.
That for me is that's close to me.
Yeah, I'm that close to putting Fields above Fields going 101 if he goes to Denver, because he's beating out Drew Lock. Tim could beat out Drew Lock.
If he went to the 49ers or the Falcons, Justin Fields.
Yeah, but Fields, I think with Fields,
I could move him to 101 then.
But even though Fields is going to be sitting for at least a year, I'm potentially probably
the 49ers. He's starting at the 49ers.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I think whoever they draft at 3 starts, they get rid of Jimmy. He's gone. I don't care what Kyle Shanahan says. I think he's gone. Especially if they draft Mac Jones, because I reckon he could step straight in.
So if Justin Fields goes there, it's a cheat code in that system.
Wait, are we talking fantasy right now, right? Because if we're not talking fantasy, then it's the 4, then about 20 other quarterbacks, and then Trey Lance sitting at the back. But
you leave Trey alone.
Me and you, Jamie, gonna have fun with that. Like, Trey Lance is punching well above his weight, but for fantasy purposes, is Lamar Jackson light, so he's going to be fine.
Is he Lamar Jackson or is he Josh Allen light?
He's not big enough to be Josh Allen, is he?
I just think he's more of a running back than a quarterback, personally.
How many interceptions has he thrown in college? And I know the competition wasn't brilliant, but then again, there's Zach Wilson. Everyone wants to suck him off.
Yeah, but the thing is with Trey Lance is, like, we can get into this for hours, me and you, but I just hate the fact that A, he's only played 17 games, B, he's never played against FBS competition, C, he never wanted to play against FBS competition, D, he's a running back that can throw. He's not an NFL quarterback. Sorry. Hate it.
Just so that we kind of stop that argument, just as a quick, I'm not a massive Kirk Cousins fan, but for fantasy, he's always been relevant, regardless of playing for Shanahan or not. So my point with I'd take Mac Jones above it is not only is he in a Shanahan system, but if he's Kirk Cousins, he's going to be fantasy relevant.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's his ceiling, Tim. That's as high as he could go. He offers nothing in rushing. That is as high as he could go.
But there's still space for as a QB3 on a team. There's tons of space for somebody who can pocket pass and play a scheme, a system well. I mean, look at Brady, right? You know, I'm not saying he's ever going to be Brady, but Brady's never offered rushing yard in any capacity. What he's done is he's read a field well and he's played system and scheme really well. So if you can get a system and scheme QB in the right system, i.e. Shanahan, it doesn't matter if his comp's Kirk Cousins, he's going to be fantasy relevant because he's going to be able to throw the ball. And you're picking him up late in first, mid to late in first in Superflex drafts. So to me, he's free QB money. He's a little bit like Herbert was last year, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think you can be, if he does land there, and because most people will do their rookie draft after the NFL draft. If he does land there, he's going to move up people's rookie draft boards, which is, for me, not wise. I still think Justin Fields is because of what he offers, and I agree with Jamie to a certain extent on Trey Lance. Because of what they offer for fantasy, they are the better options still to take over Mac Jones.
I love running QBs. You know, I love that, Deshaun, Lamar. I love that. But there's always so much hype around them as a cheaper option. I love a pocket passer who can play a scheme well, who I know who's going to throw a ball tons of times a game, and that's going to be the game. Or, hand it off with a certain amount of bombs downfield.
Do you know what Mac Jones reminds me? And what I think, and it's similar to what you were saying, Jack, about Kirk Cousins and Mac Jones. I tend to think that if the 49ers are drafting Mac Jones, Kyle Shanahan, Mac Jones is clever. He's got good intent. He reads a field well. He makes good decisions. He's Matt Ryan light. Kyle Shanahan's best ever season with a quarterback was Matt Ryan. Kirk Cousins is yes, this might be me being a Falcons fan. Kirk Cousins is a worse version of Matt Ryan. There is no real kind of rushing threat, but they're good pocket passers. And that, for me, I don't think Mac Jones is probably going to get to the ceiling of Matt Ryan. I think it's probably between Kirk Cousins and Matt Ryan, but I think that's what Shanahan sees. It would be a surprise to everyone because I think Justin Fields would be great there. But
Kirk Cousins is my and Ryan.
I love you, Tim.
Oh, dear.
I love you, Tim. But who? I know this is silly, but who are we to question Kyle Shanahan apart from Super Bowl second halves? That's it. That's the only time we can really question him because he shits the bed every time. I haven't forgotten, and I have not forgiven Kyle Shanahan for being an arrogant git and not running the ball. Move on.
I think
Justin Fields, by the way, is being so overlooked. He's such a good quarterback. I'm desperate for him. I think, honestly, hand on heart, fantasy. I mean, I'm not in too many Superflex leagues. That might have been apparent tonight as I took Elijah Harris 1 overall. But I still don't really rate this class at all. If I'm drafting a quarterback from this class, it's 2 options. It's Trevor Lawrence, who will be playing for the London Jacksonville Jaguars, and Justin Fields.
Agreed.
Can I say one? Can I be devil's advocate on one thing? One thing on Justin Fields. One thing.
Yeah, go for it.
And I'm going to really shoot if I'm wrong on this. And this is me being devil's advocate. This isn't me what I'm thinking and what I believe. But why couldn't Justin Fields beat out Jake Fromm?
I think Georgia would like to answer that question for you, to be quite honest, because I think it's a stupid decision. I was a big Fromm guy, but
yes, so was I.
I think Justin Fields well and truly put 2 fingers up at Georgia last year for Ohio State, didn't he? No, that's a very valid question.
Yeah, that's the only tiny little concern.
I think it was a Georgia staff decision rather than anything else. I think it was definitely to do with that. I think they were Fromm guys. I think Fromm had them in his pocket, and that's, for me, I can't see further than that.
You can say that about a number of guys, Jamie. Look at Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm literally just playing devil's advocate because someone's going to ask a question.
I'm just saying it's a fair point, but yeah. You can say it about a number of guys. We are going to end it there. There's talk about some random ass quarterback on some dodgy team. I don't know.
CJ Costello, Mississippi State Bulldogs.
KJ Costello. You can't even get his first name right. It's Kevin. His name's Kevin.
Why did I say CJ?
Boys, anyone got anything else to add to the week? You all had good weeks. Tim, I want to start with you. You're right down there, mate. You had a good week.
All right. I just lost the will to live after Jamie said 7 Costello.
Have you got stickers on your window?
What? Yeah.
Have you got stickers? Oh, I did wonder. I was wondering. That bunny.
You can call me Bunny. I don't even know what the question is, Jack. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah, well done, mate. Well done. Jamie, have you had a good week?
Yeah, it's been fine. I'm stressing building a sandpit for Isabel's birthday at the end of the month. So yeah, that's good fun.
I know you keep asking me questions on WhatsApp about drills and things. So, yeah.
We all know Jack loves a good drilling.
I do love a good drilling. Rob, you had a good week.
Great week, mate. I'm a Norwich fan, so watching that yesterday was fantastic. 7-0. We're going back to the Premier League. It's all good.
And then you go straight back down again.
Don't care. We'll collect our 120 million pounds, and then we'll be back up again the year after.
Exactly. Got that and get more money.
Yeah, everyone rips it, and I say, do you know what? I couldn't care less because it just suits us down to the ground. We know what we are. We're a small club in Norfolk.
The second club in Norfolk, isn't it?
Oh dear, you started
After who? Kings Lynn?
You can find us on Twitter at kickers_matter, our website kingfantasysports.com/kickersmatter. I know, Rob, you've got a few articles that have gone up recently, so.
Well, just the one, but there's another one dropping this week. Yeah, like I've mentioned it in this podcast, there was a running back, sort of a sleeper edition headed into the drafts. And also, I'm literally working on the wide receiver one as we speak. I've done 2 guys so far. One guy that I didn't even draft tonight, which I'm desperately disappointed. Marlon Williams from UCF, one of the best wide receivers in the draft process. Absolutely.
Is he
Maybe done 36 rounds, you would have
myself.
Is he on sleeper? This is the question.
I'm so asking sleeper to
Is he on sleep? Sorry, my internet keeps dropping out.
That's all right.
I don't know, actually. I'll have to check.
I might just name every kicker in my leagues that I'm in with Jamie Costello. You can give him a little nickname.
CJ Costello.
CJ Costello.
Costello with a K.
Just to taunt him.
But there's quite an interesting announcement from Sleeper that you sent me, Jack, wasn't there?
Oh yes, they are. Auction drafts are coming within the next 2 weeks, so
It's big.
I know me and Jamie. I've only took on one more league this year, which is
So did I.
Yeah, I binned a lot off as well. So, but we have got an auction draft coming up, me and Jamie. So I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm interested to see how they do it and what settings they offer.
And if they have CJ Costello on there, that you can
obviously bid 98% of my fab on.
Right, everyone. Cheers for watching. If you can leave us a lovely 5-star review, and yeah, go and draft and pick up CJ Costello. What a guy!
Peace.
KJ.
Kevin.